What's happening, what's happening, what's happening? Of course, you know it's your boy B-Hot Radio Shout In, stepping in the building. I got an ATL icon and legend, Dr. Mel Pender. What's going on with it, boss?
Oh, man, look here. I am so happy to be here. You don't know.
Oh, man, same thing here. I mean, Mel, I was talking to Don about you the other day, and he was just telling me about your life story and all of the different things that you had been through and gone through and achieved. And I said, you know what, Don, you need to get him in here ASAP because I need that story for myself, okay? Mr. Pender, can you take me to the beginning, man? Just growing up, how was that for you back in those days, sir?
Well, my family's from Dalton, Georgia.
Okay.
That's the corporate center of the world.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be the bedspread center of the world,
Mm-hmm.
when they made house coats and chenille.
Yeah.
And I remember as a kid the things that I would always say, why?
Mm-hmm.
Going to the movie when you had to buy a ticket in the front and walk around the alley and go up about 100 steps to go to the balcony to watch a movie. Segregated schools. And one thing that really I remember is the trains would stop during the Second World War, would stop on the tracks and in Dalton, and the white troops would be on the front, and between that would have the guns and the tanks and so on and so forth, and the black troops. And I would go home and I asked my mom, I said, Mom, why is the black troops and the white troops separated on a train and they're fighting the same war? But Mom couldn't explain that to me.
Yeah.
She said, well, you know, you have to go to school and learn, and said that way you can learn all about what's going on in the past and all about history. She said, you just have to get an education. So Mom didn't know how to explain that to me. You know, I just remember so many things, and I would always say, why? Because we all people.
Yeah.
Even though we're different nationalities and different religions, but God put us all here the same.
That's right.
And growing up, I remember going to the movie and seeing this movie To Hell and Back with Audie Murphy. My father was in the Navy at the time. He was a cook on a submarine.
Yeah.
And I would go to the movie thinking I'm going to see my father in the newsreel, because we didn't have television.
Yeah.
So, but I saw this movie, Audie Murphy, and my father being in the Navy, and I said, I want to be in the military. I always wanted to be in the military. And this guy won all kind of medals, man, Medal of Honor, and in movies. He did movies, Western movies and all kind of movies when he got out. And when I joined the Army at 17, I wanted to be like Audie Murphy and win medals and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But getting there and moving to Atlanta in 1950, after my mother and father divorced, I moved to Lynwood Park. That's in Brookhaven. You know, that's where George Wallace is from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up with his brothers, man.
That's crazy.
Right, it is, man.
Yeah.
But I you know, in Lynwood Park, I just remember crazy things like the police we had a little stand back in the day. The old place we had was eat hamburgers and hot dogs and had a jukebox and a little pot-bellied stove in the corner to keep warm. And the cops would come up there at night and turn his lights off and jump out of the car and jump on the biggest black guy on the corner.
What?
Yeah. And I remember running so fast and running through the backyard of some of my neighbors and hit a clothesline, because, you know, back then we didn't have dryers. You had to hang them on a line. But the clothesline happened to be low, because almost on the ground. When I hit it, I just kind of ran across my chest.
Yeah.
And when I got home, my mom said, "You okay?" I said, "Yeah." I was kind of crying because I was hurt, but then I was hurt because of what was happening to people of color.
Exactly.
You know, black people, and how they was treating us. And so I decided that I was going to do something with my life, and I said to Mom, "I'm going to make you proud of me." And my grandma, they was watching little black and white TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amos and Andy and all that kind of crazy stuff was going on back then.
That's right.
And I said that I'm going to make you proud of me. And that's when I decided that I was going to go in the military. At first, I wanted to go to college. I wanted to go to Marsh Brown.
Okay.
And because that was a football school.
Yeah.
And back then, Lynwood Park, when I first moved there, we had to go to Shamley in a little building, a rock building with like 14 classrooms. That's including the office and everything. It was right back at the Texaco station. Yeah. Up there. And it had, like, first and second grade was in one room. And they wouldn't give us a taxi.
Oh my God.
That's DeKalb County.
Yeah.
We had to get taxis to go to school.
See that?
Finally, the community got together and got the county to build us a school in Lynwood Park. And they built the school. It was a little long cement block building with concrete floors and a little pot belly stove in the corner.
Yeah.
And an outdoor toilet, a little outhouse for girls and boys about maybe 50 meters from the school.
Yeah.
Then we had a great principal, man. He started a football team.
Yeah.
And we would get all the hand-me-downs from Chamblee High School. We couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
Shoes that we had 100 pair of shoes that was tore up. We had to put cardboard in the bottom, because the spikes was coming through the bottom of them. But my grandma was so nice, man. She bought me a pair, and I used to caddy. At Capital City Country Club and Peace Street Country Club. To make a little money to buy shoes. But my grandmother bought me some shoes for my birthday, football shoes. But it was just so much stuff, man, that I would always say, why? We fight in the wars. But we make history. We got great singers. We got great entertainers, and we got people that invent stuff in America.
That's right.
That made America great.
Come on.
As Trump said, make America great. America was made great by black people. We built this country.
Correct.
We built the White House. But it's just that also the things that I'm seeing now at age 87. I can't believe it. I can't believe that I'm seeing what I'm seeing, and the way we are being treated because of the color of our skin. You know, they're taking the history out of the schools. They're taking the military, way they're treating us as military. It's insane.
Exactly.
You know, I was let me go back, because I joined the Army when I was 17, and I was married.
My God.
I had a baby. I had to take care of my child, man. I was going to join the military anyway. But I joined the military so I could take care of my family, because I was digging ditches, and black men back then did concrete work. Doing cement, driveways and basements, and doing, brick and block and so on and so forth. But I joined the Army when I was 17. I was sent to England. And I was in England 18 months. I was sent to an engineer unit where we rebuilt all the airstrips in England that was run by the Germans. There's 5 airstrips, airports. Mine was called Stansted. I was 18 months, and then I came back to Texas, and I re-enlisted. And I always wanted to be an airborne, Special Forces. So I re-enlisted. Got the 82nd Airborne, baby.
My God.
Because I make the extra $55 a month. I had to take care of that baby, and that wife.
Yes, sir.
So I joined the Airborne, and in the Airborne in 1961, I was sent to Okinawa, 82nd, getting ready for Vietnam. So that's when I ran track and played football. That's when I was discovered that I can run fast. 'Cause I didn't run track till I was 25 years old, man. I was the fastest guy on the football team, and the coach said, "We want you to run against these Japanese that's coming over from Osaka, Japan." For the 1964 Olympics. I didn't know about the Olympics. I didn't know who Jesse Owens was. You know what I mean? Back in the day. Because I never went to college. 17, right in the Army. And so I was a Pacific champion. I beat the best sprinter that was training for the Olympics for Tokyo, and never had no training for track.
Oh my God!
I beat him in the 100 meters. It's all in my book. Well, I'll talk about the book later.
Yes, sir.
But I was sent to Tokyo on R&R, the track team that had won first place in the inter-service championship in track and field. And I saw all these big monstrosity buildings, man. It was coming on. I said, I'm coming back to the Olympics. Having no idea that I was going to be on an Olympic team. I didn't know what the hell it was all about. So I came back, and I was signed to 82nd Airborne, again, jumping out of airplanes, and I was treated. And then after that, I was sent to Korea. So when I went to Korea, I was in Korea 13 months, and that's when I heard about the Army track team. They were looking for runners to train for the Olympics. And my buddy called me up one day on the football team. He was on the football team with me. He was in personnel. We wrote a letter to the sports branch in Washington. So when I came back, I went back to 82nd, and I was I was given 2 hours a day to train. And they didn't like that, boy. 82nd Airborne, they didn't like me, man. Working and leaving. So I had a lot of problems. But I made the Olympic team in 1964, age 27.
My God.
One of the oldest sprinters in the history of track and field at that time to make an Olympic team. But I got hurt, pulled my muscle, and in fact, my buddy was horsing around and punched me in my stomach and caused me to have detachment from my rib case and caused me to bleeding.
Yeah.
But I placed 6 in the 100 meters behind the great Bob Hayes.
Oh.
You remember Bullet Bob, right?
Yeah.
Well, Bob and I was like the top runners in the world back then. And I only been running a few years, man, and didn't know I could run. But I made that first Olympic team, and came back. I didn't win a medal, and I came back, and went to OCS. I got commissioned as second lieutenant. I was sent to Fort Riley, Kansas, played football there, and I was running, making touchdowns every time I got the ball. Just about, 'cause it was only 8-man tackle football team. Yeah. Right. So what happened was I was sent to right after training. I was sent to Vietnam with the 9th Division, Mekong Delta, second lieutenant. And ironically, you had to be 18. I only had one black young man in my unit. And he was 17. He couldn't go. But all the young men in my unit was between 18 to 22 years old, and I didn't have one black kid in my unit. Yeah. And I was so good, the commander sent me on an advance party, and I had to set up everything for the rest of the troops to come in on the ships. Yeah. I was over there like 5 months, and then I got pulled out. I got one coming off a mission one morning, and which we got hit that morning, and one of the kids got wounded, and he said, I heard when I'm coming back to the base camp, this captain said, "Mel, you're going to Fort Sam Houston, Texas." I said, "What are you talking about?" I was sent orders to come back to train for the 1968 games, my second Olympic team.
Oh my God!
And I promised my men that I was going to win a gold medal for them. Yeah. And I made the team in 1968, along with John Carlos and Tommy Smith, the guys that did they call it the Black Power Salute. Yeah. But it wasn't the Black Power Salute. They call it the silent gesture. Okay. To let people know that people around the world, hey, we are human beings.
That's right.
You know, we go and win these medals in the Olympic Games and bring it back to America, and we come back and we still treat it like inhuman, like human beings. And people got that all wrong. But I won a gold medal in the relay, 4x1. We set a world record at 38.2 seconds.
My God.
I ran the second leg, and ironically, I led 6 in the 100 meters. I should have been like in the top 3, but that happens in a race. You never know what's going to happen. But I came back, and I was assigned to in California at Fort MacArthur. I was there 2 weeks. I was on orders to go right back to Vietnam.
What?
Now, let me tell you what happened. Because of what happened in Mexico, they thought I was involved in a demonstration. But I was a captain. I know that I couldn't get involved. Yeah. Especially being in the military, any kind of,
Exactly.
Right. But this colonel knew that I was to go to the helicopter school, because before I left Fort Riley, I applied for helicopter school. And I had taken all the tests. Yeah. Pre-flight, got up in a helicopter. They let me use a stick and try to fly the helicopter. Physical, written. I passed it all. But when I got back to Fort MacArthur, within 2 weeks, they had me on orders to go back to Vietnam. Can you believe that? And I'm the world champion, and I was rated the best physical specimen in the United States Army by the Army Times newspaper. But I refused to go. Okay. Vietnam, so they sent me to 82nd Airborne, back to 82nd. As company commander. They said I was the only company commander, black company commander at 82nd. But I killed it. My company was the best company in 82nd Airborne Division for 6 months that I was there. Then straight back to Vietnam after 6 months.
Okay, Dr. Pender. I got so many different questions, sir. My first question would be, was it more dangerous for a black man in America back then than it was for him at war overseas?
I would say yes and no. It's a whole different environment when you're in war. Yeah. Like I said, I didn't have any blacks in my unit, in my platoon, but we were all one people in Vietnam. Okay. It didn't matter about race. It was about surviving. Yeah. It's about getting home back to our families and friends and girlfriends. And I just believe that all the things that happened in Vietnam was something that shouldn't have happened. Let me put it this way. We never should have been in Vietnam in the first place. Yeah. Okay? But we were soldiers, and that was our duty to do what we were told to do by our commanders. And we fought gallantly in Vietnam, man. We lost over 500,000 young men in Vietnam, man. And the way we were treated when we came home was just like, how? Why? Again, the word why.
How do you feel like you all were being treated when y'all came home? Because, see, for those people in 2025, they don't even understand what you mean by being treated any kind of way after fighting for the country and your life.
Well, for me as a black man, it hurt me. I mean,
Yeah.
it really got to me. You know, I'm giving my life for a country, for all American people, not just for one race. It was
Yeah.
for all American people, for the United States of America. And I come home, and we couldn't wear our uniforms. We had to wear civilian clothes once we got back to the States, because people were calling us baby killers and spitting on us and throwing stuff at us and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
It never happened to me, but it happened to some veterans.
Yeah.
But and then, like, little things like when I came back and winning a gold medal from Vietnam, and I took my mother to Shamley up to a doctor. And they still had to go into the back door and sit in a little room, about big as this little room here, with a table and 2 chairs. And the waiting room was up front. You had to walk through a hall to get to the waiting room. And I took my mother. Mom said, "You can't go up there." I said, "Yes, we can." So I went up there, and the lady said, "You can't come up here." The receptionist. I said, "Why? Why?" "Because y'all supposed to be back. Y'all supposed to sit back there." I said, "Y'all." I said, "Ma'am," I said, "this is a free country. My mother's not going to sit in the back of a room waiting for a doctor that she has to pay for. She's paying for this to see." And the doctor came out. He was going to get bad and rough with me, you know, and call me a name. And he don't know I was black belt karate, and I was airborne, you know,
You made a
trained,
mistake. Yeah.
and just got back from Vietnam after going through all the stuff that I've gone through. Coming back and being treated that way, he don't know that I would have hurt him real bad.
Yeah.
And I called the police. I said, "You can call anybody you want to call. You can call your mama." I told him. I said, "But you're not going to treat me the way you treated me and my mom, and she's paying you to treat her." So I got back in the car. I was crying. And Mom said, you know, she was trying to console me, and I said, "Mom, you don't know how this make me feel." I said, "I'm sorry."
Yeah, take your time.
You know, after seeing what I saw
Yeah.
and went through what I've gone through in Vietnam,
Yeah.
I had post-traumatic stress, so it's hard to talk about. But
Yeah.
it's a thing where you take your mother to a doctor, and you're fighting for people in this country,
Yeah.
and then you treat like a second-class citizen. That hurts.
Yeah.
That really hurt.
Yeah.
And seeing things that I saw, and things that I went through in my second tour in Vietnam with 82nd, and also I worked for Ambassador Kobe. I'll get to that.
Yeah.
But you know, God made us all bleed one color, man.
Yeah.
And for the way we have been treated inhumanely in America because of color of skin,
Yeah.
it's just not right.
Yeah.
But I took my mom home, and I was upset all day. I didn't even go out of the house, and I went back after I went back to my unit, 82nd. No, I'm sorry. I went back to. I was signed to West Point. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I got assigned to West Point my second tour. After I got pulled. I'm gonna go back. I'm sorry. I got confused there.
Yeah.
After being back to Vietnam with the 82nd, then worked for Ambassador Kobe, CIA, became a CIA director. I got pulled out again after 9 months to train for the 1972 Olympic Games.
My God.
At age 31. I mean, it was like, I'm sorry, age 34 when I went, because I was 31 when I was in my second Olympics.
Yeah.
Okay. But when I came back, I should have made the 1972 games. I was kicking butt.
Yeah.
I was running the best I ever ran in my life.
My God.
But I got assigned to West Point Military Academy. The first black coach in the history of that military school, and that's a military school.
Yeah.
Track coach. I was a track coach. I was assigned there, and that wasn't. It was a great assignment.
Yeah.
Because I was with some of the most intelligent black kids in this country.
Yeah.
You don't go to West Point unless you're very intelligent. And these guys, I was like a father to them, man. And the things that happened there was, I'm gonna tell you, man, the things that happened there you won't believe. I mean, we won. The coach passed away after 25 years, and I was made the interim coach.
Okay.
And they didn't want to make me the interim coach. I was assistant coach, but they wanted to make me after he passed. But they did, because I only had a few years left, and 2 years left in the military to retire. But at the same time, I was traveling 70 miles one way to Long Island after practice to finish my college degree. I was the only black officer at West Point. The only officer at West Point to have a college degree.
My God.
Because I was an enlisted man.
Yeah.
So I went to OCS when I was a staff sergeant.
Yeah.
But I had been going to school off and on at night to finish my degree because I knew I needed it once I retired from the military.
That's right.
But I only needed 6 credits. So I'd gone to seven different colleges, but I got to West Point. I started going to Delphi University in Long Island, New York. And after practice every day around 4 o'clock, I had to be in class at 7. And I would get home around 1, and because it was like 70 miles. They had to cross the George Washington Bridge, Palisade Parkway. And in wintertime, a lot of snow, sometimes you got to go detours to get back to West Point.
Yeah.
But make a long story short, I applied for the head coaching job at West Point. And I was told by my cadet, who's living in Atlanta right now, and Major Anderson, which there's a movie about him called The Anderson Platoon in Vietnam. They was invited to the dinner to the commandant's house. He told them that West Point wasn't ready for head black coach. And I had won all and lose with 2 track meets in the history of that school. It had never been done before. Because the kids, they ran for me.
Yeah.
I mean, they really loved me because I was like a father to them, right?
That's right.
So, Secretary of the Army got involved in it, and he called me in and he said that kind of chewed out the commander there, and said, I got all his records in front of me. I said, only report I've gotten that was not good was from Colonel Shooter. I've been getting 90s and 98s and 100s in my ratings, and he gave me like an 89. And he didn't see me every day. I worked for the civilian guy that passed away. He was a civilian, the track coach. And he said, this is appalling. This man is one decorated veteran, Bronze Star Vietnam, a combat infantry badge, and all the medals on his chest. Gold medal winner, world record holder.
Come on.
Promoter. He's setting world records for this country and the world in track and field, and he's not qualified to be the head coach because of the color of his skin. Now I was still in school.
Yeah.
I only had 6 credits to finish, and I would graduate in September, but I retired in June.
Yeah.
So he said, don't touch him. Let him stay in his quarters until he graduate, and until the time for him to leave West Point. So I stayed there until I graduated in September. That's when I came home.
Yeah.
But it was a lot more going to that. I want to get into all of it, how things that were said to me by the guy that was in charge of me.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what he said. He called me in one day and he says, Mel, I said, yes, sir. I thought he was a colonel. And I thought he wanted me something special for me to do because tell me how great I was winning all these track meets. It was about his wife being an Anglo-Saxon American alcoholic. She was an alcoholic. That her daughter was dating a Chicano at the University of Mexico.
Yeah.
And I understand that you're dating a woman that's not black. He said that to me.
My God.
And that was the wrong thing to say to Mel Pender.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't say that to me.
Come on.
So I said, hey, what did you say to me? I said, furthermore, it's not your damn business, Colonel, who I date. I said, that's between you and your wife.
Yeah.
I said, furthermore, I'm not dating someone. If I was, it's not your damn business. So I just walked out.
Yeah.
But this kind of racism was in the military, even at West Point Military Academy, even in the military.
I got to ask you this, though, Dr. Pender. A lot of black men came from Vietnam with a lot of post-traumatic stress. During that time, what was going on that was causing all of that stress, if you can share with us so people can get a better understanding of how that was for everybody?
Well, not only black men in post-traumatic stress.
Yeah.
But like me, I have it.
Yeah.
It was the environment.
Okay.
A war that we never should have been, a war we didn't know how to fight. These guys got tunnel from here to Buckhead.
Yeah.
They have tunnels. They could tunnel, man.
Yeah.
I just watched a movie the other night, Tunnel Rats.
Yeah.
And I had a tunnel rat. I had in my platoon, I had young men that went in these tunnels, and to find the VC.
Yeah.
But it was the environment, the booby traps, guys getting their legs blown off.
Yeah.
I mean, ambushes where you couldn't see the VC. In the 9th Division, we was on riverboats. We were down the Mekong Delta River, man, and we'd go down the river, and all the forests, the jungle, you couldn't see the VC. So that's when they dropped that Agent Orange. The jungle, that's that chemicals to kill the jungle.
Yeah.
So, like me, I got cancer leukemia from that Agent Orange.
My God.
Yeah, and so they dropped the chemicals to kill the jungle, but it was an environment that you had to live in. The walking and water up to here, with you got leases on you, and you got ants all over you. The ant hills high as this room.
Oh my God.
And sleeping in rice paddies and water and it's just how VC would how they maneuvered. I mean, that was their country.
Yeah.
They knew how to maneuver in that country.
Yeah.
So you had to be really trained well, and which we wasn't. We wasn't trained well enough for Vietnam.
Oh my God.
We wasn't. I mean, we trained at Fort Riley, Kansas, and cornfields and marijuana patches. That's right. That's right. I mean, it was amazing how we trained and environment and the booby traps that they taught us a little bit about booby traps, but not enough.
Yeah.
They didn't give us enough training for that, and so it was like, and then the things that we were hearing back from the country, from our own country, about being baby killers and about things that you see on the news media. We wasn't baby killers. There were some people killed by the bombs that was dropped. Yes, that's war. You're gonna have some civilians, casualties that people are gonna be killed.
Yeah,
but having post-traumatic stress, I got a good wife. She noticed it, and I still have a problem with it, but I did get help from psychiatrists, but it never goes away.
Okay.
I've had to go to 12 operations. I supposed to have a surgery yesterday.
My God.
They had to cancel it.
Yeah.
But until next 25th, I got to have another surgery. But it's like you feel at my age, you fought in a war to protect your country, and you feel like people didn't appreciate you, in so many words. And being black is even worse.
Yeah.
Even now, what's happening in this country, how our leader is taking away all the history out of this country's schools and what they did at Arlington Cemetery, Medal honor winners, and taking all the information about them from the history books and I mean, and the colleges, how they taking all the stuff from the black universities and why? That has nothing to do with him being a president running this country. Exactly. You don't do that. That hurt me.
Yeah.
Because I'm 87, man. I've been to the mountaintop.
Exactly.
I've seen there. I've been there. I've done that.
Yeah.
And I know my wife gets kind of angry with me. I don't want she to get angry, but I watch the news. And the things that I see happening on the news, that word "why" always comes to why. Now we're about to be in another war. People don't understand. People are not paying attention to what's going on. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Not with you.
We are going to be in another war, and it's going to be with China.
Yeah.
And if people don't start paying attention to what's happening around them with our government, people in our government right now that's running this country, and we're going to be in a recession, and people going to suffer. Yeah. And because we got a person that don't give a damn about nobody but himself and the wealthy. So I'm asking people who listening to me, to start paying more attention to what's happening around them with our government and the people that's running this country.
That's right.
Because I've been to the mountaintop. I've seen it. No, I'm just like right down the street, the Fox Theater.
Yeah.
Back in the day, we had to go around the front and get a ticket and walk around the corner and walk up 200 steps to get to the balcony because of the color of our skin. Yeah. He wants to bring all that back. I mean, people not paying attention. Yeah. Right on the back of the bus, when you get on the bus, you got to go to the back because of the color of your skin. Yeah. I've been there. Buckhead. Go to the movie. You buy a ticket in the front, walk a block around the alley, go up to the back and watch a movie. See, our black kids don't know this. They don't know their history. Yeah. And our parents are not teaching the history. Schools are not teaching it.
That's right.
But our parents should teach our kids about our heritage. because it's there.
Yeah.
Not saying to make them angry and turn against anybody, but know where you came from. Know your history.
Yes, sir.
And then, as John Lewis said, speak up and speak out.
That's right.
If you see something ain't right, speak up and speak out about it. Because this is our country. It's your country.
That's right.
It's your country. It's my country. You don't treat people different because the color of your skin and your beliefs in God.
That's right.
You don't do that. My wife's a minister. Best thing ever happened to me.
Yeah.
Changed my life. Saved my life. All the things I've gone through in my life, now being married to my beautiful wife, all the operations, and also writing a book about my life, which is in a documentary. Just made a documentary of my life on Apple Television.
Okay.
It's called Vietnam War. The war that saved. I'm sorry, the war that changed America. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I forgot. The war that changed America. I'm in that video. Apple Television. You should get that and watch it.
Oh yeah, I will.
And also, from that movie, I'm being given an award in D.C. on 8th of November from the Veteran Administration.
Yeah.
And this award is like this. It's like the Academy Awards. They have movie stars that present these awards to veterans.
Yeah.
And a lot of the veterans from that documentary is going to be there receiving awards. So it's something that I'm proud of. I'm proud of serving my country, being a black man, all the things that I've done, and all the things that I'm still doing.
Yeah.
My wife is something else, man. I woke up one morning and I had this dream about bringing Olympians together, 64, 68, 72 Olympians together. Probably for some of us, our last time.
Yeah.
Though we all in our 70s and 80 years old. That's something Olympic Committee don't do, and the USA Track and Field don't do.
That's right.
Once we win and we're running the Olympic Games, we are forgotten unless you number 1 or number 2 or whatever, unless you a different color.
What was it like when y'all won that gold, though, Dr. Pender?
To me, it's like heaven. I mean, like being in heaven, man. At my age, winning that gold medal after not winning one in '64.
Yeah.
Setting a world record at that time.
Yeah.
At my age,
Yeah.
coming from a little community called Lynwood Park, all those things were, to me, like heaven.
Yeah.
I promised my mom that I was going to make her proud.
Yeah.
That was a proud moment for me. To say that I was going to make my grandparents and my mom proud, and my father proud of something that I did.
What did they say when you came home with that gold?
Oh man, my community went crazy. But I'm still honored out there. They got my picture on the wall in the recreation center. It used to be the school. It's a recreation center now. But most of black people are gone. They got $1 million homes in that community now.
Yeah.
But I was treated very well from my community, and not only the community but around the world, man. I still get people sending me autographs, pictures of me running track and speaking engagements. I do speaking engagements and around the country, and thanks to my wife, did the book called The Expression of Hope. I have to show it to you.
Yes, sir.
I'm giving this to you.
Thank
This
you.
is your book.
Yes,
You
sir.
can read it.
Thank
It's
you.
called The Expression of Hope.
Okay.
And it's a great read. And when you write a book, you have to have pictures in it too.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't put pictures in their book to describe the topic of what you're talking about.
Exactly.
But it's a great book. But getting back to this honor that I'm getting in November, it's a thing where at my age, receiving this type of notoriety and award, it makes me feel good that I've done something great for my country.
That's right.
And that's not only what we're doing with my great wife. We're putting on this event in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Hopefully in March. It's 68, 64, 68, and 72 Olympians. We bring them all to Vegas for a gathering.
Yeah.
And that is probably, like I said, some of us hope a lot of us still be around. I hope I'm still around at that time.
Yeah.
To celebrate what all the accolades that they've done for their country.
Yeah.
Because once you win, participate in the Olympic Games, you're forgotten. You're forgotten unless you keep your name out there, which I've tried to do.
What was the experience like for you at your first Olympics when you went out there and you said, okay, I'm about to compete against the best in the world? Were you prepared for all of the pomp and circumstance that was going on at that time and just the energy? Was the energy the same then as it is now for the Olympics?
It's hard to say. For me, it was like being in heaven, man. I mean, I'm in the Olympic Games from a little community,
Yeah.
Brookhaven.
Yeah.
Being a Vietnam veteran, fighting in a war in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And here I am competing in the Olympic Games, the greatest sport in the world, the
Yeah.
Olympic Games, being one of the top runners in the world. And running against Bob Hayes, the great bullet Bob Hayes. I'm running against, we the number 2 runner because the other runner didn't make the finals.
Yeah.
So I made the finals after being hurt.
Yeah.
I still made the finals.
All right now.
Yeah. After I was taped up like a mummy.
Yeah.
I had injections, and the guy had me all ripped up with tape, and but I still played six in 100 meters. I wasn't last.
Yeah.
But it was like the world. It's something great for me as a black man to be able to accomplish something that great
Yeah.
for my country.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? Lynwood Park,
Yeah.
a little black man, war hero,
Yeah.
Vietnam, brought back out of combat.
Yeah.
Here I am in the Olympic Games, in my second Olympic Games.
Yeah.
And winning, and especially some of the second Olympic Games, beating some of the youngest sprinters in the history of the world to make the Olympic Games. Think
Yes,
about
sir.
that now.
Yes, sir.
At age 31 years old.
Woo.
Setting world records. I'm the world record holder in the 50, 60. I had it in the 70.
Yeah.
And I ran, and also in the 100 and 100 meters.
Yeah.
I ran 10 flat in 100 meters. I hold the record now in 5 flat to 50.
Yeah.
65.8. No one in the world ever ran that fast in 100 meters. I'm the only one that holds those records.
Oh,
Still
my
hold those
God.
records because it's yards.
Yeah.
Now they run meters. Now a little black kid from Lynwood Park,
That's right.
right on the back of the bus, you know, being treated inhuman in my country, and I do this for my country, not for my people, for America.
Yeah.
That's something great, and I'm not bragging
Yeah.
about it. I'm just honored and proud that I could do this.
That's right.
And I could say that I could tell my mother and my troops in Vietnam that I was going to win a gold medal for them.
That's right.
And I can tell Mama, I'm going to make you proud of me one day.
Your mind, though, Dr. Pender, these are 3 different places. You got America and what's going on in America at that time. You have the Olympics and what's going on in the Olympics. And you got Vietnam. You're going back and forth between all of these 3 different places over like a 10-year span. How are you adjusting to all of these different environments?
God.
Okay.
You know, you got to believe in God, man. You know, I pray and thank Him every day. When I go to bed at night, when I get up in the morning. Sorry.
Take your time.
I thank Him for everything He has done for me. I thank Him for making my dreams come true, making my goals that I set come true, giving me the lady that I'm married to today, bringing her into my life at a late age, even though I'm a little older than she is. But the only thing that happened to me after, in the past 18 years of my life, been with a person that loves me and treat me like I'm a human being. Those are things I thank God for.
Yeah.
I know my time is getting short at 87. You know, we all got to go one day. But the things He has brought me through, the pain, the surgeries, the humility from people that have crooked minds in the military, the name calling, all things, I thank God for helping me to persevere and to overcome all those negative things in my life to be the person I am today.
That's right. When you talk about perseverance, that's a lot of what a lot of these young kids are kind of lacking nowadays. What advice do you have for the next generation coming up right now to be able to persevere through the struggles? Because that's the other thing. They haven't seen near the struggles that you have seen, okay? They're mad about a troll on Instagram and it hurts me so bad because somebody said something to me. How do they, progress through all of this stuff to become the best that they can be?
I learned something from my grandfather. Mm-hmm. When I was like maybe 11, 12 years old, he learned how to read his Bible. Learn how to read from reading the Bible. He would sit on his front porch and read his Bible and sing church songs. And one day he was playing marbles. One day my buddies were making a lot of noise. Mm-hmm. And all at once he came off we had a screen in the porch, came down on the steps and says, "Listen!" And my buddies said, "Your grandfather crazy?"
Yeah.
No, but what he was trying to say to us is to listen to things that's happening around you. And he would say, "Read." Mm-hmm. He said, "You got to learn how to read." Mm-hmm. He said, "You have to learn and be intelligent. Mm-hmm. You have to go to school and learn how to read and write and grow to be successful in this country because you got so many obstacles in front of you."
Yes, sir.
He would tell me that. Mm-hmm. He would say, "You have to be your man. You have to be who you are, and never say I can't." Mm-hmm. He told me, he said, never use the word I can't. Mm-hmm. He didn't know how to explain that to me. Yeah. But he was a deacon in the church. Yeah. But he explained the best way he could to me, best he could, the kind of person I should be growing up in this country. He said, "You're going to have obstacles in front of you." In so many words. Mm-hmm. He's got things in his obstacles. He didn't know how to say the word obstacle, but he can say things in front of you. Mm-hmm. He said, but you have to persevere. You have to be able to look those things in the eye and achieve your goals, to be the person that you want to be in your life. This is what I'm telling kids. I tell kids to listen, to read, to learn about their heritage. All this stuff they hear see on TV and all this music they hear on the radio, which is good, but don't let that stop you from being an intelligent person. They need to know about their history. That's right. They need to go back and learn who Martin Luther King was. That's right. C.T. Vivian. That's right. They need to go back and learn about who the people that gave their lives. John Lewis. They need to go back and learn about who these people are and what they gave up to have the freedom, that little freedom that we have today. We're still not free. Yeah. And what's happening in our government today, they're trying to take us back to where we were back then. But see, these kids don't know that. They don't see that. They're not listening. They're not listening and observing what's happening around them. They're not doing that. And some of the parents are not doing their job. They're not teaching their kids about their heritage. They're not listening to what's happening around them so they can tell their kids this. But most of the kids you see today, they're out on the street, got these headphones and listen to all this music that about killing and sex and they're not. And also the cell phones. Yeah. They own the cell phones, talking about things they shouldn't be talking about, looking at things they shouldn't be looking at. Yeah. But how do you get to them? How do you get to them? I think my thing is we got people in the community that can get to these kids. It's got to be the churches. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. I hate to say that. That's right. They could do more than they're doing. And it's got to be the parents. And it's got to be the organizations like the 100 Black Men and 100 Black Women. They're doing a hell of a job. I have to give them credit. Okay. They're doing the best they can to get out there to reach these kids. Organizations like that, you have to get kids to pay attention to the future, to their future. If you don't have to go to college. Man, I worked for Job Corps for 12 years. Yeah. Job Corps I was a national representative for Job Corps for Region 4. These kids go to the Job Corps and get their GED. They get, once they finish their training, we would place them in jobs around the country. That's right. And some of these Job Corps kids have their own business now. Yeah. And plumbing, carpentry, electricians, they're doing well. But you don't have to go to college. Yeah. And a trade is better than better than going to college. Right. Yeah. But see, they don't do that in school. See, I remember back in school, and when I was in high school, you would have like 2 or 3 hours a day to go to like a beautician, a barber, go to a restaurant, they would let you go for like a couple of hours a day to get that training.
Yeah.
You know, I forget what you call it. It was vocational
school.
Vocational school,
Yeah.
right. I did a program for Jimmy Carter called Vocation Exploration Program at up in Carrollton, Georgia, at the college. We brought kids out of the city for a week.
Yes, sir.
We talked to them about this. A lot of these kids are doing very well. Some got their masters, the PhDs.
Yeah.
Carter had it was a CETA program. They should bring that program back, man.
Yeah,
They brought that.
definitely.
They need to bring that program. Get these kids out of the city in the summer. Get them in an environment where they can learn about the environment, learn about how to be a citizen and how to grow, how to be productive in their
Yeah.
lives. But they don't have programs like that anymore. And so kids in the summer, what they do? They do nothing.
Act the fool.
And the mayor is doing a good job.
Yeah,
I think
he
the mayor of
is.
Atlanta is doing
Yeah.
a great job.
He
I have to give
is.
him credit.
Yeah.
He cares about young people.
Yeah, you could tell.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
got to be more. It's got to be more. I know I'm talking a lot. My wife called me Mr. Talk a lot, but but I got to tell you about the foundation.
I'm here for it.
It's called the Gathering of Eagles
Okay.
Foundation, which I started back in '96, and I brought it up. We reestablished the foundation. Again, that's to bring these athletes, athletes to Las Vegas, and it's a foundation to give scholarships to kids in track and field,
Yeah.
and also in not only in track and field, but in areas where kids can go to school,
Yeah.
and learn something about life. It's leadership training and
Okay.
leadership training.
Awesome.
I have to again give kudos to my wife again because she has done such a great job in helping me pull this thing off, and I have a great committee, a great board, and it's been approved by Caesar's Palace. It's going to be at Caesar's Palace.
All right now.
Right, and they must like it because they approved it,
Exactly.
and they've given us a lot to bring these people, these athletes back to maybe, like I said, for some of us, probably my last time
Yeah.
to celebrate all the things they've done for their country.
That's right.
Now, when Caesars came back and said they liked it, now you know that's a big hit.
Exactly.
Caesar's Palace.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on now.
And I had a dream about it, man. I woke up one morning and look at it and look
Yeah.
what's happening. We're looking for sponsors. I'm putting it
Yeah,
out there.
exactly.
If you believe in what we're trying to do to help our young people with scholarships and leadership training, we got a big leadership training program. We also have comic books coming out of I'm sorry. Somebody's over here telling me it's children's books.
Yes, sir.
That's my lovely wife. Well, we have children's books coming out.
Okay.
With myself, Tom Hill was a bronze medal winner.
Yeah.
And Eddie Hart, who won a gold medal in 1972.
Okay.
When they had when all the athlete was killed.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we have those children's books coming out for kids, and trying to, learn them about the Olympic Games and about history of black people in this country.
That's right.
Like I said, they're taking it all out of schools.
Yeah.
We want to bring it back through the Olympic legends. These are legends.
Exactly.
Yes.
Lastly, though, Dr. Pender, I want to ask you about that book again, man. What was your favorite part in the book that you hope that people take from it?
I think it was about me as a kid, about how I was so great about doing something great with my life.
Yeah.
That's the main thing, and about my grandfather. Mainly, a lot about talking about my grandfather.
Yeah.
It's about listening and reading and getting an education, getting a trade to be somebody in life, to be successful in life, be productive in life. And it's so much in that book about, I could say, that made me feel good about the book is the things and my accomplishments, overcoming diversity, overcoming things that bother a lot of people. In other words, you have to be, you got to believe in God.
That's right.
Because there is a God.
That's right.
Now, a lot of people don't know that. that there's a man, somebody up there.
Yeah.
That's because I know he's brought me a mighty long way, man. Because let me tell you something. When I was in Vietnam, before I came, when I came home the first time, we was in the jungles in our foxholes when we got hit that night. I asked God to bring me home. When I came back from that mission, back to the base camp, and his captain said I was going home to Fort Sam Houston, Texas. That was God, man.
That's right.
That was God bringing me out of harm's way.
Come on.
Yeah, I didn't, and I refused. I didn't want to come back. This is the truth. I asked my commander. If you look at the documentary, I think it's in that documentary, where I said I told my men that I didn't want to leave, and I told my commander, but he said there's nothing he could do about it because Washington had demanded me to come back. But I wanted to stay there with those men.
That's right.
And they, like I said, I didn't have one black one in my unit. But they were still
brothers.
My kids. Because I was 28 years old.
Yeah.
Going on 29, and they were 21, 18 or 22 years old. But they still Americans.
Yeah.
They were still human beings.
That's right.
So it's just so much that I have been through in my life that God has helped me to achieve. If you read my resume, it's like, did I do this?
Yeah.
Did I accomplish all of this?
Yeah.
I just got another award about 2 months ago as a special sheriff in Cobb County. My wife thought it was real funny because they give me a badge. I got a badge they give me, and because I work with troubled kids in schools in Cobb County.
Yeah.
Yeah, and which I'm still active.
That's right.
Trying to help these kids be productive in their life, to know there's other things out there besides drugs.
That's right.
Besides robbing and killing. Most of these kids are from single parents.
Yeah.
To try to help them understand that you only got one mama.
Yeah.
And you need to listen.
Yeah.
To her, and be able to show her that you can make her proud one day, like I did.
That's right. That's
so
right.
that in the book, it's so much in this book that you asked me that I'm so proud of.
Yeah.
I'm proud of the whole book.
That's right.
And my wife wrote this book. My beautiful wife
Yes,
wrote
sir.
this book. If you read this book, you said, she did this? And the way she put it together with the pictures.
That's right.
And the way she put together with the pictures and the chapters and me running and when I was a kid and it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think this is why the Apple Television
Picked it up. Yeah.
And because what happening on the 8th of November in D.C., getting this award because of the expression of hope. The expression of hope.
Dr. Pender, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today, man. Whenever you want to talk about it again, I'll be here for it, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Like I said, my wife called me Mr. Talk a lot.
Yeah.
So when I start talking, that's why I'm a motivation speaker, man. I get out there and I don't know when to stop. But when I talk, it's facts.
Exactly. And I appreciate it so much. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Holler at y'all in a minute. We go.